Hi, thanks for joining me for this week's quick business tip. Today, we are going to dive into a client success story that is going to put your jaw on the ground. I'm talking more stunning than when I was reading through some ad copy that I made for a client and realized that I had spelled brain like the name Brian. This is a story of a $100,000 boost in revenue that came directly from clarifying their message. So let me walk you through this transformation from the beginning. Imagine I have a client and we're going to keep everyone anonymous for their own sake. We're going to call this the confusion company. And they came to me with a really big problem. They had been working with a marketing agency for 4 years, and they just really weren't getting any leads from anything other than putting their signs in yards and driving their trucks around neighborhood. They were nowhere when it came to Google search or Google business leads. They just didn't have anything coming in and they couldn't figure out why. It wasn't their job to figure out why. That's why they hired a marketing agency to begin with. They are experts at what they do, and they felt like they hired an expert in marketing. So when I came in and took a look, here's what I found. It was pretty much a hot mess. Their website was stuffed with keywords that probably would have helped them with their SEO if it were the 1990s. Their social media was bland, boring, and filled with hashtags. In their elevator pitch, they didn't even have one. They couldn't even explain to me who their target market was, other than to recite the demographics the marketing agency shared with them as they were putting together a direct mail campaign. So, what was happening to their potential customers is that they were just confused. They popped onto this company's website, saw a bunch of words that maybe, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they made sense to all of the search engine bots and all the algorithms in the world. But to a human being, these words didn't belong in that order on that page, and it really didn't communicate well to the end user. And guys, it doesn't matter where you rank on a Google search. If when actual paying human beings come onto your site, they are confused and overwhelmed and turned off, you're not going to make any money. You can absolutely be number one on Google search and not make a single sale. And this is a prime example of why that happens. So we came in and we started to revamp everything. We talked about who their target market was and really dug into what made these people tick. Your target market is so much more than demographics. It's not just their age and their income and where they live and what their education is. It's how they spend their day. What's keeping them up at night? What are their dreams? What are their fears? This is what's going to allow you to create a message that's really going to connect. Once we had a clear picture of who this company really wanted to work with, we were then able to come up with a message that would resonate with them and communicate the problem that this company solved for them and the benefits that they would receive if they worked with them. Now, obviously, our plan from the beginning was multi-pronged, But when we were just starting out, we had to get real clear on who their target market was, and we had to clean up the website. And I did not go in and do a lot of back end SEO, backlink stuff. I cleaned up the front end of that website. I took this keyword stuffed menagerie and just made it clear and simple and easy to understand. And I put a real obvious booking link multiple times on their homepage. Phone number up in the top, booking link all through the page, made it easy for people to understand what they did, understand the benefit to them as a customer, and made it super easy for them to take the first step in the process of working with working with my client. In just 30 days, when we looked at, let's say it was January, when we looked at January, I'm sorry, let me back up. After just 90 days of working with this company, we looked at their sales from the next month. So 90 days out, we looked at their sales from that month and compared it to the same month from the year before. The reason that it was important that we looked at the same month from the year before was because this is an industry where their sales are going to go up and down as the seasons change. So when we compared month to month from one year to the last, knowing that the only thing that we changed was the front end messaging on their website, we saw over $100,000 in increased revenue. All we did was make it really clear to my clients' customers, what their benefits were, what they would do for the client, and how to get a hold of them. It was that simple. Now, since then, we have gone on to build up their social media, make their messaging consistent, whether it's on their website, their social media, their email marketing. We have coached them through some changes in their sales procedures and how they communicate with customers and some of that stuff. And it's just continued to grow from that first 90-day change. But the reason that I wanted to share this story with you is because it really is that simple. When you get to know your ideal customer and you create all of your marketing message around that customer, how they talk, what they're afraid of, what they want, and you make it really clear that you are able to solve their problem and make it super easy for them to take that next step with you, whether that's booking a call, doing an in-home consultation, just dialing your phone number, whatever it is, making that next step super clear and super easy. You guys, I can almost guarantee that if you take these very simple steps, you will also see an increase in revenue. So let's review one more time. You have to know who you're talking to. And this means you're not guessing, you're having real conversations with past clients, with people who didn't do business with you in the past, or from trusted people that fall into your target audience. And you also need to keep it really, really simple. If a 10-year-old can't look at your website and tell you what you do, you need to make it easier for them to understand. And it's not because your ideal client is stupid. It's because we all have these amazing brains that are still feeling like we're cavemen, and all our brains want to do is use the least amount of energy possible. And anytime we ask our brain to think, it's using energy. So our brain is programmed to be as lazy as all get out because it's so afraid that if it uses too much energy to understand what it is this website is trying to tell me, it won't have enough energy when that saber-toothed tiger comes knocking on my front door. Okay? Your customers aren't stupid, but you need to keep your message simple. You also need to be consistent. If you don't feel like a broken record, you're probably not doing it right. The next thing, the fourth tip is to focus on the benefits, not the features. So many people get wrapped up in all the things that you get. If you do business with someone and they forget that people don't care that you get this and this and this and this, they want to know that they're going, what their value they're going to get out of it. So if the benefit is that we get on a call once a week, I'm sorry, if the feature is that, when you're working with me, we'll get on a call once a week, the benefit is that you have consistent accountability and a trusted source with answers to your questions at a moment's notice. You see the difference? So don't get wrapped up in the features. Make sure you focus on the benefits. And the last tip is to test and tweak. Nothing is written in stone. Everything is going to change over time. I am constantly making small adjustments to my website and it's still not perfect. So you're going to get feedback from customers. You're going to get feedback from friends and colleagues. Take that, process it, and see if there are areas that you can start optimizing different places on your website, your social media, and your email campaigns. Clear, consistent messaging is not just about the pretty words. It's also about that connection. That's why hiring a marketing expert is so much more powerful than hiring a copywriter. A copywriter is going to come in and they're going to write a lot of pretty words, but they're going to base all their information off of what you tell them. When I work with my clients, I come in and really dig deep. I mean, really make them think about what makes their customers tick. And if they don't have the answers, I send them off with homework and make them have those conversations, whether it's phone calls or emails, sending out a survey, whatever it takes to really understand what their fears, what their customers' fears, desires, and what words they are using to describe their problems and what they want the solution to look like. So there you have it, 5 easy tips to get you started on the road to making this $100,000 change to your business. If you want more customized, hands-on, done-for-you help, please schedule a call with me. We'd love to talk to you about where you are, where you want to be, and what's keeping you from getting there.